Buddy.
Going live momentarily. Just getting my for those of you listening on the podcast, we've got a full house today on what I call a super podcast episode of Suds News as I get everything out and tweeting out the live
Never mind.
tweeting out the link for the live feed. Here we go, and we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Suds News, brought to you by Suds in the Squared Circle. And as you can tell, we have multiple people here. This episode is entitled Suds News on the 10th floor. And
What?
Matt and Kat on the 10th floor.
Hey, hi.
Welcome, guys. How are you today?
Welcome.
I mean, I'm great. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm feeling good.
Me too.
I mean, we've got some interesting, fun momentum on General Hospital.
Yes.
You like it or you hate it, there's momentum and stuff to talk about.
There really is. There's a lot of momentum, a lot of good stuff to talk about. But before we get into that, as everybody knows, Christy is up in, I'm trying to figure out the Brady Bunch routine here, but Christy is up in the left corner. I'm here, Matt's down there, Kat's over there. And I do want to welcome everybody to Suds in the Squared Circle, like I said, and let everybody know, as always, we are an official affiliate of the WWE shop, which is a fanatic experience. Go to sudsindsquaredcircle.com/wrestling merch, and that has our affiliate link directly in that URL. And exactly, those WrestleMania cups, I don't know if the WrestleMania 31 cups are still available, but the WrestleMania 40 cups are probably still available. And any NWO merchandise and anything else on there. We do get a commission off of any sales you purchase through our link. Also, the Sudsies, the voting is open. July 7th is when it closes. So go over sudsindsquaredcircle.com/Sudsy voting, and that'll bring you to the voting form. And Matt and Kat will be back this year presenting 2 awards along with a whole host of wrestling and soap opera podcast performers that will be presenting awards this year. And before we get into anything GH bound, I do want to ask everybody for their feedback of the 51st annual Daytime Emmy Awards that happened this past Friday night on CBS and Paramount Plus. So we'll start with our guests, and ladies first. So Mama Kat, how did you enjoy the Daytime Emmys this past Friday?
I liked them. I was in Southern California, so I kind of watched them in my hotel room. But that was kind of difficult. And then I came home and I actually rewatched part of it.
Yep.
But I was actually looking for, which I realized was just not part of the telecast, was I was trying to see if I could see Jo Fael win her Emmy, which I know she won.
Okay.
Right?
You know what? I didn't even see it listed on the Emmy Awards.
I saw her holding one. The only reason why I say she won is because I saw little Jo Fael in a photo with an Emmy. So I figured she must have won. So I rewatched the program, trying to see if I could see Jo Fael actually go up there, but I don't think it was telecast. I don't think that award was telecast.
I think that one came on Saturday, like the second ceremony.
Yeah.
With the more like the lighting awards and the set decoration awards, because she was nominated for the best original song.
Yes, which she didn't win actually.
Oh no.
No, I have the full list of winners.
She's holding somebody else's Emmy, I guess.
It might have
posing
been
with
the full show.
Maybe.
Posing with Marshall second.
Right, that's a possibility. But the original song, the Shine, was from General Hospital that was nominated, but the winner was We're Home from Reconnecting Roots. I have no idea what that's from. But I do have any surprises from you guys? Any surprises from the winners that happened? That happened on Friday. Any surprise winners? Any sleepers? Dark horses?
I'm surprised GH didn't win more acting awards. I'm not surprised that they won like the best show and the best directing and all that, because they always do.
they weren't stacked up for nominations really for acting awards.
No, but I thought that, I thought that maybe Finola might have had a chance or Cynthia Watros. But then again, I didn't see any Young and the Restless, so I have no idea what Michelle Stafford's been up to.
Well, that's what I said. I was just on Take Two Radio Soaps and Review earlier, and I had mentioned how I was shocked that Michelle Stafford won, because when I was watching YNR, she really felt like in more of a supporting role rather than a lead, and the story really wasn't there, at least in my opinion. I thought Cynthia Watros or Finola was going to take it, uh, but I was apparently wrong. But there was also Catherine Kelly Lang from Bold and Beautiful, and during the storyline with Eric almost dying and being saved, and I thought that could have been a shoe-in as well. But so Michelle Stafford did win for Outstanding Lead Actress. Christy, how about you? Did you get a chance to watch the daytime Emmys on Friday?
Okay, so funny story. I wanted to, and then I watched. I actually forgot they were on. I've been really out of the loop, y'all. I've had a really it's been a struggle bus for me personally. So then I'm on my Southwest flight home from a business trip, and I'm on, the Southwest TV, and I'm like, oh, the Emmys is I'm like totally blanked. And so I started watching the first few minutes though. So I've seen about the first 10 to 15 minutes. I have not gone back to watch like the whole thing, but I'm looking at I looked at who won. So I'm a little like I don't know if the if they released all of their like what they submitted, because I always like to see the
Yeah.
scenes of what each person submitted, because that really tells you who might win too. And so when they showed the girl who won is Sally Spectra, because
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't no General Hospital actress win that? And then they showed a little bit of her clip when she won, Courtney Hope, and I was like, oh wow, that looks like really
She's a
intense
lot of
stuff.
fun.
So it's like I can see why she won. So congrats to her, because I was a little like, what?
So from what I
I've
know,
heard of Sally Spectra. I've heard
We're just
it. So
biased. That's all.
okay.
We're just biased to our show.
We're just biased General Hospital fans though. So I
No,
can't,
I'm currently not watching I'm not watching the CBS soaps right now. So it's so hard for me to judge, whether or not I thought they were better or not, because I just didn't watch their work very much.
Right.
There was a couple of things that I really loved about it. I really loved in the show. I love that Suzanne Rogers was up there and was, for a 50th 50-year golden award for being,
yes,
On
being Maggie
forever.
for 50 years. This is crazy. And I really love that. And I really love the Dick Van Dyke up there. And he cracked me up saying that if I'd have known I was going to live so long, I'd taken better care of myself. Well, dude, you must have done something right. You're 98.
that is very true.
yeah, and he's still acting. He's
I
still
don't know.
doing
Yeah,
his
so that was
thing.
cool.
Did y'all
I
see him
liked
like strut down the red carpet?
Yes, yes.
I almost thought he's going to chitty chitty bang bang off,
I thought that was great, Dick Van Dyke winning. And I mentioned this on earlier as well, in that I felt like it was almost a given that he was going to win the guest spot, and that kind of
Oh,
rounded out his career as an actor almost, to get
Well,
the daytime award.
to be the legendary star he is, and you are awarded those awards because of your peers are voting. So, I mean, come on, what kind of turd wouldn't vote for him?
Right.
Really?
I do know that General Hospital, the two episodes or the two parts of episodes, and I know David's watching, so welcome to the chat, David. And he could correct me with more if I'm wrong, but according to Candace, who was on Take Two Radio with me earlier, General Hospital had submitted the episode of Epiphany's funeral, a memorial from last year, and also the episode of Sprina in New York as the two episodes for the actual show, if I remember, if I got that correct. And that's one of the reasons why when they went to the drama, the best drama series, those were the highlights that they showed were Elizabeth up at the, podium talking about Epiphany. So it was one of the, ensemble cast shows that they submitted. I don't know in terms of what anybody else. I think Finola submitted when she shot
Charlotte?
Scarlet, yeah. And I think that was what she submitted. So that's what she was nominated for, because those scenes were intense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They were really good scenes, but I have to say the previous year of her scenes with Peter, when she's letting him know that I didn't call you no dang ambulance, that was primo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, when he died.
Yeah, Peter died, and she held his hand, and he realized that she didn't call an ambulance. Oh, it was just so good. So yes, her shooting Charlotte was good scene, but it just wasn't like the one before. I don't know. That Peter dying was something else.
Yeah, I'm dying in quotes, because nobody ever really dies on a soap opera. At least I'm hoping that Peter comes back at some point.
Well, sure, and if Peter doesn't come back, it's not uncommon for a twin to have twins. So
That's true.
easily have
Only on
brothers.
soap, people. Only on soaps will they get away with that kind of stuff.
That's very true. All right. So,
They could well, hang on. I mean, they could pull the Days of Our Lives thing, and the ghost of Peter and the ghost of Nell can start haunting Port Charles.
Yeah. How campy does GH want to get? Really?
Come on, let's
Days
do
is
it.
really known for
Elizabeth
that
Corte, I
campiness.
know you're watching.
Down that path before, we had vampires and stuff like that. They went down that weird road before.
that is true. That is very
Yep.
true.
You
But
get the worms in your brain there too.
DH did win a lot of show awards, though. They did win Best Drama Series, Daytime Drama Series, Best Writing, and Best Directing. So those three alone, and I, it's funny because you see so much on Twix about the writing of GH, how so many people are upset with the writing changes and upset with the writers and the vocal minority, as I call them, on social media. And I just put out a post on Twix and on Facebook, and I said GH just won for best writing. So for all the haters, I got 2 words for you, and the old DX.
They win.
Yes, exactly. But either way, it was a good night overall. I was actually shocked that the Bay didn't win anything they were nominated for this time.
And they did last year.
Yeah, they did.
Big time.
What I affectionately call the ECW of the soap world, the Bay. And by the way, speaking of which, in terms of the Bay, Dockside at the Bay is actually not going to be tomorrow night this week. It's actually going to be Tuesday night. Wednesday night. Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Dockside at the Bay on this channel. Kim and I will be going over episodes 7 and 8 of season number 2. And I know they'll be releasing more shows on demand soon, but they did add the Bay to their Popstar added the Bay to their on demand listing as well. So all the shows up until season 7, episode 14 are available on demand on Popstar, as well as Peacock, Amazon Prime, Tubi TV, and so on and so forth. All right. Let's
May I say something about the writing?
Yes.
Me.
Go right ahead.
All right. So you know that phrase that saying or whatever, where a day is long but a year is short.
Yes.
I think that's what comes into play when it comes to the writing on GH. The year can be pretty long.
Yes.
But the days are short. The days are quality. The lines that the people are saying and all that is great.
Yeah.
It's not, why would this person say that? How come this thing came out of this person's mouth? All of that. It's the direction of the character and the long-term arc of things and where stuff winds up months from now seems to be where the complaints lie.
Yeah. So no, and you're exactly right. And people want to and I just think people want to complain just to complain. But we did see a shakeup.
I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Complaining for a lot of people is somehow their joy.
You're right. When you're miserable, you want to make everybody else miserable around you. But we knew that there has been a writing shakeup in GH, as we know that Patrick Mulcahy, who was just brought back in January or February, and he has left the soap, and apparently things got heated between him and Frank, and they just didn't have the same vision. So Elizabeth Corte is the sole head writer at this point in time. And she has apparently, she's been there for long enough. She knows the history, she knows the characters. But former head writer Dan O'Connor, who accepted the Emmy on Friday for GH, has actually signed with Days, so he'll be going over to Days as a head writer or co-head writer. So amazing! He accepts the Emmy for GH on Friday, and then just right after
that position for Dan was confirmed, that he's going to go on as a co-head writer and not just staff or anything.
From what I know, well, I mean, I did see that he was signed. I don't know. I assumed it was co-head writer. Maybe it's just
because I didn't see the position, because that's key information. Because
yeah.
if he was the co-head writer of Days, that's heavy influence on the entire creative direction. While being a staff writer is still taking
They
Ron.
have a singular head writer at Days, Matt?
Yeah, it's
Carlavati.
Ron Kelly. Yeah, that guy. I never know his last name.
Carlavati.
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 So he was
used to write for GH.
Yeah, he was the head writer for GH, left them, went over to Days.
Yes.
Yep.
But anyways, I mean, just it was an overall good night for the daytime Emmys, and then we have the Sudsies to get ready for in a month and a half. So either way, it's going to be fun. Hey Nathan, hey David, welcome to the chat. Hopefully you guys are having a good time. And if you guys are liking the show, go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, click that bell for notifications as we put up everything that we can for Suds and Squared Circle Media, including Squared Circle News and Dockside at the Bay, and much more to come. All right, so let's get into why we're actually here. Suds News on the 10th floor, as we're about to talk about General Hospital and the week that was. So we started out the week with basically where we left the previous week, in Anna walking into the coffee warehouse, where Jason just had a couple people attempt to take him out, and Jason easily defended himself and took out one of the day actors, who hammed it up for the camera during his death scene.
Make the most of your minutes, folks.
Exactly. Yes.
Hey, he's trying to get there for another role, He's trying to get in there.
Remember that time I died?
Yeah. But so who do we think? I mean, we did happen to see that Anna found out eventually, when she called the number from the burner phone, that it went to Valentine. And Valentine picked up. So now she knows that Valentine is in bed with Pikeman more than she thought.
Oh, I think it was confirmed. I actually think she did think that. I think she'd pretty much come to that conclusion already, and it was just confirmed for her. Maybe just a sliver in her mind that maybe it's not true, but I think she kind of knew.
I think
now she's totally, totally sold on Valentine being the culprit, but maybe what exists in her mind, goodness, what exists in her mind is the hope that maybe she can pull him away from these the darkness that is encroaching on his life.
She wants to. Well, Anna is a bit of a. She wants to fix people and rescue people sometimes.
She does.
I mean, she did let Peter throw that evidence in the fire. It's Peter night, everybody.
Matt, you better come out with some Peter.
Never. No. He's retired.
No, he's retired, man. It ain't no good.
Nobody wants any Peter August. Maxie.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen Bailey Lou in a while.
No, Soap Opera Digest misreported who Maxie was talking to at the pool. She wound up talking to Violet.
Yeah.
When they were like, oh, and her daughter. And so we were excited that there was going to be a Bailey Lou Sora,
Right.
but didn't happen.
I mean, there is a rumor that they are sourcing Bailey Lou in the
I
near.
mean, at this point, they have to,
Yeah, they
If
have.
they ever going to show her again,
unless they want to use that same adorable baby. I'm for that.
Could be. Always a possibility.
I wish they were more consistent with showing Bailey Lou, because that was kind of a big part of Brooklyn and Chase's storyline in the beginning. Is that whole baby storyline was like kind of the catalyst for bringing them together as a couple, and it was kind of sad that they just
Sure.
kind of fizzled out with the Bailey
they
Lou
had to
appearances.
stay Wheezy face on.
Wheezy Faison, waiting for her villainy to form. Just out there, arm in arm with Charlotte Cassadine, setting fires and planting evidence.
Wow, that would be amazing if they went that route. As if,
Set the boathouse on fire someday.
yeah, right. Although the Charlotte storyline seems to be on hold at this point. I know the actor Scarlett Fernandez had surgery of some type, which is why they kind of put that whole thing on ice. And I don't know if they're ever going to get back to it.
JPS is not available a lot.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you kind of have to have him to have a Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Yeah, Scarlett Fernandez, Charlotte Cassadine storyline.
Yes. Easy to get him. Yeah.
So apparently,
Although I thought they kind of wound up the whole thing with Charlotte was just fizzled.
Yeah.
They let us know off screen that she went back to the boarding school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they had so much potential for a good storyline between her and Jake, and Jake trying to help her out with her brainwashing, and because he was brainwashed by Helena at one point, so they both know about the Cassadine brainwashing. And apparently, Christy has a new nickname, Christy Chase. Thank you to David in the chat.
Yeah, David's always teasing me about that.
There he is.
Old
He says
Swicky.
I have I mean, Chase is my GH crush, but I change celebrity crushes like every 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
So
TJ.
I just
TJ's
dropped
falls
Austin
off the
Butler for that guy on Bridgerton, Luke Newton. Sorry, Austin, you've been replaced. You're a vapor. I can't. It's a thing.
Yeah, my wife likes Bridgerton, so she's been watching
Chase goes. Chase is my GH crush. So if out of the entire GH cast of the men I would like to meet the most, it would be.
He's awfully pretty. He's awfully handsome, good looking in person, and very nice.
Oh yeah, yeah. So he signed this. He signed to this Swicky, Josh Swickard, because when we walked up to the table, he goes, because everybody else had their name on it, like to Matt and all that, and I didn't. I wanted just the autograph, and he goes, well, who do I make this out to? And I say, well, not to anybody specific, but if you want to write like Swicky or something on it, you can. And he goes, oh, that was my nickname in middle school. And so he writes Swicky on it and signs his name.
He wrote Swicky.
Oh, I love that. That's so cute.
That's awesome.
GH convention, folks. If you ever have a chance to go.
Yeah. Very nice fellow.
Right. Yeah. GH convention is great.
I've been to a WrestleMania now. My next step is a GH convention.
I mean, they'll have to host it. They seem to have skipped it this year. So
well,
keep your eyes peeled.
Actually, I haven't been to the convention. I've been to the fan club weekend twice.
Hey,
which is
so I mean,
similar to the convention.
From my understanding, the fan club weekend is a much more intimate, closer up with your favorite stars setting than the official GH convention. So, if you're looking to like really get to be with your favorites, then the fan club way is totally the way to go.
That makes total sense. It actually does. All right. So let's kind of switch gears a little bit. How many of us think that Drew is going to make a good congressperson?
He's got my vote. I believe it.
Actually, I think he would be good too. If
I
he
think
could
that is
keep his clothes off on long enough, if Nina's around,
that's what it is. I don't think that he's going to be a
Mm,
bad congressman. I think he's going to do fine when it comes to policy and being there for the people. His issue is going to be avoiding political scandal.
Yes.
which it might have something to do with Nina behind
Maybe
closed doors.
Nina.
Maybe.
It looks like there might be three women after Drew at a certain point. I'm
Yeah.
still on
I
Team Jordan
oh,
Drew.
I think Jordan Drew
Druden or
too.
whatever it is. I'm totally on that boat. That's the boat. If that one's sailing, that's the one I want to be on.
Well,
the
I have a
Jordan
feeling
Drew
they're
vote.
gonna, what was
Drew and
that?
Jordan. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a
I
feeling.
almost feel like they were leveling up on the Willow in
I
Willow and
mean,
Drew.
that's the biggest political
Willow
scandal
and
you
Drew
can have.
chemistry. I was like, why are you trying to make this like super friend chemistry right now? She's married. Like I'm really confused
Because
here.
he's
Like why
gonna
am
do
I
something.
feeling like
Because
these
he's gonna do
vibes?
something dirty. He's
It's
gonna
for
do
the
something
skeleton
dirty.
in the closet that
Yeah.
needs to come out during the campaign trail. Oh, I slept with my nephew's wife.
Maybe his twin brother can beat his ass for that.
There you go. More soap violence from Ma. She wants a twin fight. Jason versus Drew. We haven't had it yet, and she wants it next week
I
live
don't know.
on GH.
I don't know. The way that the Jay and Jimmy Uso match at WrestleMania came out, I don't want to see any twins fighting anytime soon. Oh, then again, I wouldn't expect Jason or Drew to be super kicking all the time either. Um, although I wouldn't mind seeing, I do want to see a confrontation between Jason and Drew. That would be it's needed at this point, because when Jason was buried by rocks, he and Drew were actually on decent terms.
They
Because
sure
when
were.
Billy Miller was there, or no, because it was Jason that helped Drew get out of
Yeah.
the Cassadine holding cell in the cave. So they were on decent terms.
They were. They were actually starting to talk about brothers and bond a little
Yeah,
bit. They
they
were. And then when Jason showed back up 2.5, 3 years later, all of a sudden that didn't happen. None of that existed anymore.
yeah.
I don't think they've even really shared more than one scene together.
No,
No, not really.
the wedding. That's it.
Just hey, bro, how's it going? I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm okay. Good.
Welcome,
Sucks that we didn't
Stephanie,
get
to
to
the
know each
chat.
other when we were kids, huh? I had to grow up with Franco, by the way. Did you know I grew up with Franco? God.
It was terrible.
At least until I was 2. And then he threw me down a flight of stairs. Did he ever tell you that story?
So much potential. We're just feeding GH some good dialogue here.
Yeah.
Oh,
All
I'm
right.
sorry. That wasn't even my Cameron Matheson. It was, did you know that I had to live with Franco until I was 2? And he threw me down a flight of stairs, but it actually improved my life because it separated me from that crazy family. And then I became a Navy SEAL.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Although I don't know if they'll necessarily visit that, because that was when Billy Miller was playing Drew. So
Oh, they're totally never going to go back to that. That's a different character, Drew Kane, entirely.
yeah, and especially the fact that they probably won't want to bring up Franco's name either. So it just, it's just all around.
But Elizabeth's wishing for a Franco right now. Let me tell you.
Well, I wish somebody would. I wish that GH would kind of move along a little bit and let us know who killed Franco.
Yeah, that's
Oh, we know who killed Franco. It's
who killed
Austin. We
Franco.
don't know.
Yes, exactly. That's who I meant. That's who I meant. Yeah, who killed Austin? I'm kind of thinking. I kind of thought it was Valentine. I kind of thought it was Cyrus. I kind of thought it. Currently, I'm kind of thinking it's Ava.
Ooh, David did everything.
Well, I don't know. Ava seems to be getting more in touch with her bad girl side, and now that she's she's trying to get it to the point where Sonny only trusts her and nobody else, and she's got the power. Like, you could take her out of the mob, but you can't take the mob out of her, and that's what it boils down to. And she likes the control. So
I prefer I'd stab Ryan in the back, Ava.
Well, there we go.
yeah,
That's my favorite Ava, the one that's right, that stands right in the back.
Oh, Ava, you're amazing. It's what he did to Kiki. She deserved it, okay? He deserved it so bad.
Oh yeah, he
He
did.
did.
Uh, like Ava, the character has gone through so much evolution over the past number of years. Ever since Kiki died, and she wanted to clean up her act and just go completely legit. But now that she's back in Sunny's orbit, and the scenes with her and Natalia last week were some of the greatest scenes around, because now Ava feels threatened because Sunny has devoted a lot of time to Natalia as his next conquest, so to speak, which again,
I mean, that's an appropriate word for Sonny Corinthos.
it is. Yeah,
It is.
it really is.
Yeah.
And the fact that,
Why you people like that, Christy?
That's hilarious. That is perfect. That is perfect. I like that.
So how do we think that this is going to work out now with Natalia there? We know that Natalia is, Blaze's mom. She's against the relationship with Blaze and Christina, which I am so happy that they worked things out this week and are back on the same page. I am a huge fan of
Man.
Blaze.
That fight they had in the hotel room, I thought was stellar.
Yes.
Like Kate Mansi, she really brought it, I thought, in that. And then Jackie, I don't know her full name. Jacqueline?
Yeah, Jacqueline.
Grace Lopez or something?
Oh,
I don't want to be
Lopez,
wrong.
that's what it is, yeah.
Yeah. Also just volleying it as well. When it comes to like why is the show centering around the Ramirez family? It's because they cast well.
Yeah.
Because there's legs. There's a good performer there. There's something to do.
And that is exactly why Mark Teschner was added to the gold circle of the daytime Emmys this past Friday, because he's been at it for numerous years and his casting is on point.
On point all the time.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Every single
Like
time.
even when it comes to like finding a kid that looks like an actor. I mean, we got Georgie who looks like Georgie, which is only just a nod to the fact that her name is Georgie. Genetically, there really isn't a strong reason for her to look like Georgie. It's not like Georgie was her mom. But
That child
also,
looks like her though.
yeah, and then Donna as well.
Yeah.
Right? Donna? Or is it Avery? One of the two girls.
Donna.
Yeah, Donna. It looks just like Sunny.
Yes.
And Jocelyn looks like a great cross between Jackson
And Carly.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, if they can find a boy that looks just like Steve Burton.
Well, so I mean, I've seen people like put up pictures and be like, Ashton, Anton is in, and then little Jake Weber, which I only ever think of him as Jake Weber and not as his real name.
Yeah.
Because
Just like I think of Elizabeth as Elizabeth Weber and not Elizabeth Baldwin, because that's my
Hudson
issue. I
West.
don't like that.
But Asher, I still think of as Asher because we've had several Dan. Anyway, that's not the point. But the point is, people did do like the facial comparisons, and there really is like some sort of like half resemblance to different type of Steve Burton features in both of these kids. I think
Yes.
Hudson West looks a little bit like an owl right now, and once he grows a little bit more, it's really going to come through when it comes to his resemblance to Steve Burton. At least that's my wild theory. If I'm wrong, don't tell me.
No, I think you're spot on, because the way they cast the kids is fantastic. Especially when they have to make them look like their on-screen parents.
And I think Eva LaRue is a great get.
Yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Great.
Oh, yes.
And let me put it out there for everybody, because I keep seeing this on social media. Natalia is not a character to be cheered at this point.
You're supposed to hate her.
She is a villain.
She's the bad guy.
And
She's
so
the
many
wrong
people-
one
Yes.
in the story.
Yeah. So many people are so many people bring it up. Why are they running this kind of a storyline during Pride Month? Because June is Pride Month. And the biggest thing is it does exist in the real world. So why not spotlight the fact that you have basically a bigoted character who comes from a religious background and during Pride Month, so that eventually, I have a feeling the entire storyline is geared to make Natalia recognize the error of her ways and accept
Absolutely.
Blazing Christina.
Open your eyes.
Yeah.
Open your eyes. I'm Father Clarence, and I'm here to tell you, not as bad as you think. I mean, she needs a visit from an angel. Remember that mystery nurse that was like the angel to Willow at the end of her cancer?
Yes.
She never took her mask off and she had all those wise things to say. I thought that was brilliant and awesome and amazing.
Oh yeah.
Bring her back. Just have her in the scrubs with the mask on and be like, you know what, Natalia? Let me give you some things to think about.
I think by the end of the month, Natalia will I think their relationship will become completely broken, but by maybe not the end of June, maybe the end of summer, they're gonna fix it somehow.
It really,
And
honestly,
perhaps the character of Natalia will be redeemed a little bit, and we won't all just dislike her. And we all dislike her right now because we're supposed to.
so if this is resolved in the next 4 weeks, what we have is a stunt story for June. I would not prefer a stunt story for June. I would prefer for them to have not thought about when it started to air. Because we have had so many writers shakeups and who's in charge of what and what's writing who and who's doing all this and who even knows at this point who created what it is that's on our screens. I think that it's less about it being June and more about them being like, well, Natalia has been on the border of this thing. Let's just push her over it and get into some sort of story.
Yeah.
And I hope they bring the son. I hope they bring the son on canvas, and there's the Ramirez family. It gets bigger.
You're asking for some kind of Twitter feedback at that point. Because
I mean, they can tweet and we'll just.
Well, no, when are
move
we
on.
not getting Twitter feedback on anything
Exactly.
at this point?
Exactly. You'd have to not get Twitter back. If you should not read something on Twitter you'd prefer not to see or you don't agree with, you'd have to stop going to Twitter. You'd have to just
Pretty
stop
much.
going there.
We can't even have like
Exactly,
the most
which is why I mainly stopped going there. Like I don't need the negativity.
we
I'm a
can't
much
even
happier person without
have
it.
the most well-received Emmy ceremony in 4 years without it being a total S show on Twitter afterwards. We just can't have nice things on that social media app. That's what it is.
No.
Got to be
No.
immediately tarnished.
No.
So Nathan said, as much as I love Eva LaRue, I'm not sure about the current storyline for Natalia, but I have no doubt she'll knock it out of the park. What is it that you're not sure of, Nathan? Let us know in the chat. Because we want to, we want to know. We want to bring that to light.
The main thing too for me as well is she had this big revelation Wednesday of last week, and it's Monday of this week. Like, let the story breathe. Let it happen a little bit. Let's get some more details about what, when, why, where, and who before deciding that it's wrong, it's bad. How dare they? How could they? They're ruining. It's bad, bad, bad. Like, you don't know anything about what they're doing yet.
Yeah, because the revelation that she had was Blaze was, recording a song. First off, I think they have to have some kind of a discussion or argument, some kind of a debate regarding her status as Blaze's manager, because Brooklyn is her manager at this point, not Natalia. So the fact that Natalia is acting as her manager, because she's basically her momager at this point, and she's acting as one. So there needs to be that separation at this point. She's looking out for her daughter's professional, outward image, right? So she doesn't like the idea of her being seen on the arm of a pregnant female, which kind of would suggest they're in a relationship and they're having a child. And Alexis, now I'm not the biggest fan of Nancy Lee Grahn nor Alexis, but I have to say that, she knocked it out of the park with that conversation, in the fact of, what's the big deal? Let people think what they want to think. You know what I mean? And probably basically putting it out there.
Back in the, back a few years ago, Alexis didn't completely embrace the idea of her daughter
being
having
right.
partners at all. But she came around.
She
I
came
think
around. She almost had it.
I think Sonny was actually the most appreciative of his daughter's decisions and choices and everything.
Yeah.
And just accepting of just who she is.
And we
I
actually
wasn't watching it at the time.
what was
When I
that?
first started tuning in, Christina was running off with her teacher to go live in
Yes.
California or something with her.
Yeah, Parker.
Yeah.
Parker.
Yeah, that was a great storyline.
So I just got the end of that. They were moving when I started tuning in.
Right. Uh,
But
and
part of
It's
Alexis's problem with that she had with Christina's relationship with Parker was not necessarily just not necessarily that they were both females. That was not her problem. A lot of her problem was that it was professor and she was so much older and she felt like Christina was just being misled
yeah,
and maybe used.
more of a power dynamic situation.
Yes. Yes.
exactly. Which makes total sense. And just to kind of confirm what Nathan said, he said the pacing and direction of the storyline for Eva and Natalia is what I said. Agreed with Matt, and let the storyline breathe to balance it out. And then Stephanie said, "Don't love Eva's character, and that's sad." But that's the point: is you're not supposed to love it. And I mean, but it's again, it's going to be a polarizing character because you're going to get some people who are on the same side as Natalia.
It's light villainy as well.
Right.
Like in the grand scheme of things, like I'm not actively campaigning against, I'm not actively in the way.
Right.
I'm not confronting my daughter and saying, how could this be your lifestyle? I just don't like the idea. I know people who were like, man, I really have no issue with gay people in my life, any sort of things, but I'm not interested in watching RuPaul's Drag Race because I don't want to watch a bunch of men in drag. It's just
Right.
like it's just a thing. Like
Exactly.
now the example that I gave is even more minor villainy than what we're getting from Natalia. So let's not
Right.
let's not confuse anything and pretend like I'm trying to brush anything under the
And
rug.
Natalia is not a Shiloh.
No.
Exactly. This isn't a story that's going to drive her off the show. This is a story that's going to inform the character, that's going to give her some history. It's going to give her meat and potatoes. It's going to give Ava LaRue some stuff to work on. It's going to give some interesting content for Sunny and Natalia to play. There are so many doors and windows when it comes to things.
Oh yeah.
If we don't immediately jump off the cliff and just stand in the middle of the room and
Yes.
look through these windows and doors, cross our fingers and hope, because there is a lot of turmoil, there is a lot of change in direction. Let's not sit here and lie, but just give it more time to breathe is the
Oh
main
yeah.
point.
I agree with
Hey,
you.
what's up, JLJ Media in the chat?
You 100%, Matt.
Well, thanks, Mama.
I do. And
Yeah.
I think part of the audience is kind of, they want the Maria Santos. That's who they want.
Yeah,
Of
I
course.
get it, and I also dig that they're not getting it. All right, don't always give the
Me too,
audience what they
actually.
want.
Good for Eva, right?
Right? Yeah, it gives her something
Sure.
different to do as well. When you're a soap star and you get locked in a popular character, don't you hope and wait for the moment where you can play something else, something different, something new?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly why Maurice Bernard put out that he's loving the storyline that he's playing as Sunny right now, because he's never played this type of character before. It's
Mhm.
something new. It's something different. So it's like when you get locked, like Matt said, when you get locked into um a specific character, a specific role, a style of character with very little evolution, it gets boring, which is why you see people wanting to leave characters so quickly. But when you have the evolution, when you have the difference in temperament, when you have an altered prescription, which is screwing with your character, like Sunny is having right now, it makes it fun for the actor to look at different parts of their personality and how to bring it out.
Well, Maurice gets to now think about what it would be like to be on quarter medication.
Yes.
Like it's a whole new way of thinking for
It is.
Sunny.
And JLJ pointed out in the chat, he said he's black and Latino, and this storyline is realistic. So I mean, they're hitting the realism. And I know we look at soaps as an escape, but there has to be some type of realism.
I know someone who just never talked to his mom about it ever. It's just never, it's been obvious as hell, but it's never been a conversation. Ever. Ever has it been a conversation.
Yeah.
It's like, it's one of those things with that particular family that Matthew's referring to, is it's like, well, just pretend it doesn't exist. And they're happy to pretend it doesn't exist for a lifetime.
And this is a Latino family that I'm speaking of specifically to support what James was contributing.
And that's hard. That and you know what? Everybody's right. We are in 2024. And you know, while we should be all accepting of everybody's lifestyles, it's a utopian society. It's not gonna happen at that, that easily, no matter how much we all want.
Progress takes time. Progress, by definition, isn't something that just occurs.
Right. Exactly. And we all know what the opposite of progress is, and that's Congress. So
Hey, hey, where's the golf club? Just swing that thing.
That's where Drew wants to go.
yes, exactly.
Well, he's going to revitalize the waterfront and bring public transportation so people can move out of New York City and dirtify Port Charles.
Dirtify.
Well, Drew, the other way that Drew becoming a congressman helps his cause, at least Cameron Matheson, is that Cameron Matheson is getting busier and busier with.
Oh yeah, he's
projects.
hosting a game show now too.
He's on a game show now. Yeah,
he's the Ryan Seacrest of I Can't Say No.
yeah. So he's going to.
You know what? I bet he would. Man, I bet that's a brass ring he's probably looking for, is some kind of Ryan Seacrest kind of
live with Kelly and Ryan.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Well, he wants to be Dick Clark as bad as Ryan Seacrest does. I'm sure.
Live with Kelly and Cam. Live with Kelly and Cameron. Well, I'm sure he's hoping for live with Cameron and Kelly.
Be right up his alley, right?
We just find Mark Consuelos beat up in an alleyway somewhere.
You know, he could do the with Cameron Burr or whatever. You know,
Candace Cam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
There we
But they'll
go.
do the afternoons. Afternoons on the All American Family.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And they sit there and there's a playpen in the back where their actual kids are just, playing and getting along. One of them starts screaming. Mark, like the wife has to come on and grab the baby, or the husband comes on and grabs the baby. Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Mr. Buer. Isn't he a football player or something?
Hockey.
Hockey. He just comes in with a puck. Just tosses it at the kid. You'll be fine. Oh man. Somebody give me a TV show to produce, please. Just hand it to me.
Just to catch up on chat, Stephanie says, I think Natalia can be a soft villain and cause so much conflict on the show, which will move the stories forward.
Yeah, you gotta have the bad guy somewhere. You can't have a story without a bad guy.
Yeah, it's true. JLJ says, I have family members we don't talk about me. And Cameron already taped those game shows last year, but he's doing so much other stuff with his other outside projects.
Well, season 2 then.
Yeah, working in Washington D.C. is a way to be off canvas for a while.
Well, actually, it's perfect. It is perfect for him to be able to pop on and off because he'd have to go to DC.
Yeah, exactly. But what does that do for Harley and Drew? We know that they broke up. But Drew went to her house and said, "Hey, I'm running for Congress." And she, everybody's trying to give him the negative cons about it, and instead of the pros. Michael's like, "Well, now's not a good time for you to go because we got to get Aurora back." Or back on track.
What are they gonna do? Say, yes, this is great timing, Drew. I support you entirely. We're gonna have no conflict whatsoever leading into your election.
Yeah,
That's what
right.
Curtis said today.
Right. We gotta
What was
have
that,
more
Mama?
drama. So
That's what Curtis said today.
Yeah, more power to you. mean,
Yeah,
Jordan's
Kurt
all
said
for
more
it
power
too.
to you today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, Michael's
Stephanie
just
asked,
jealous. Michael's always jealous of stuff, isn't he? He's always minorly jealous. It's not overtly jealous. But whenever something doesn't go his way, he's always like, well, dang it. And then he stamps his
Wait
foot a
till he
little bit,
finds out that his uncle's trying to touch his wife's butt.
you know?
That's the scandal I want right now on
I
GH.
don't see how it couldn't be.
I mean, unless Willow
I
becomes
kind of feel like
intern.
they could amp it up to go that direction. It's definitely something there. I felt like they were trying to really play up the chemistry with Willow and Drew there. And so I'm like, wait a minute. So he's banging Nina part time, and then maybe he could be starting to bang
He's
Willow
gonna pull
down
a
the
he's
line.
gonna pull a Kristen and just tell Nina, yeah, I'm done with that. I got
Yeah.
my fix. I'm happy.
Well, apparently, according to the spoilers that I saw, Drew and Nina do get it on today, and
Today,
Yeah.
yes, they did.
Oh yeah.
Stephanie,
Yeah, they started, doing the getting real close and talking to each other. I'm like, yep, they're about to rip each other's clothes off. It's about to happen.
Stephanie says I'm in the minority that doesn't hate Drew and Nina. Oh, I love the story.
Oh yeah, I don't
love
hate
Drew
them
and
at
Nina
all. I
together.
think that it made perfect sense to me. I love that they argue all the way through it before, then, and after, and I can only imagine what they say to each other during.
Oh yeah,
You know,
it's hate sex. That's
They're
exactly
trying to break each other's pelvis and everything, you know?
You know?
it's hate sex. That's exactly what it is. And then Stephanie also says,
You're gonna break a desk one day.
Stephanie asks, Christy, thoughts on Chaylin?
Oh, yes. I mean, I'm really happy for them. I'm not so happy they didn't get their honeymoon because they kind of killed it with Gregory's passing there. I was like, can y'all just go to can y'all just, get past the Gregory stuff for like a week or two and then go on a honeymoon? I know it might not feel the same, but
No, they
some
gotta,
happiness to break out. Break
gotta
up
break
the grief.
Finn over there. They gotta do something with Finn first. They can't do that. Finn's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We
So
got to
I
get
think at
past
this
the
point, it's pretty obvious that
addiction
Michael
stuff.
Easton is
Michael Easton's
headed for the
down.
exit door.
Yeah.
I think he's toast. I do.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
which I mean, no offense to Michael Easton, I'm super happy about because
Yeah, you were not a
at the end
Finn.
of Friday's episode, I was like, look, if Liz doesn't dump his ass in 5 seconds,
It's
I'm
just
gonna be
tough.
really
I've liked Finn, and this particular version of Finn is just such a mess, and
Yeah.
I'm so unhappy just because I don't like seeing Finn in this position. I'm not quite ready. Maybe I will on Thursday on our own show when we try to catch up with ourselves. But I'm not quite ready to say, what are you doing, writers? But as it stands right now, I'm saying, what are you doing, Finn? I'm so disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Let's see if I blame the writers next. I try to not blame the writers. I try to blame the character.
I went on Twitter a little bit. That dang Twitter, right?
Mhm.
I went on Twitter a little bit. Boy, a lot of folks are really hammering on Elizabeth for her reaction.
Well, see, that's the thing, is because Elizabeth came in and didn't show any empathy towards Finn. And, she came in and basically said, and this is quoting Angela, who's, your co-host on Days for Dummies. And she said, Elizabeth came in and went right into bitch mode. And basically saw the bottle, didn't even empathize with Finn, and just said, I'm taking Violet, you go to a meeting, and that's all there is to it. Not even, realizing he just lost his father and found his father dead. And, it's like not even trying to talk to him or anything. Personally, I had no problem with the scene, especially given Elizabeth's history with dating guys that ended up having some kind of an addiction problem, whether it was Lucky or whether it was
Lucky.
whomever, whatever the case was. So the fact that she didn't really want to get into it, she was just looking out for the best needs of Violet, I think that made total sense.
I mean,
I
we're talking
didn't
about
have
last week,
problem
right?
with
Bear. I'm a mama bear. I never, and I will never go. I'm not a huge Elizabeth fan, but I'd have done the same damn thing to him. But I'm like that though.
Well, I don't like Finn. I love Elizabeth, so I
Yeah.
actually didn't have a problem with it. And not just because it's Elizabeth, because it's like I don't like Finn. So I'm like, please
I don't
tell him where to
I
go.
don't have an issue with it either. What we saw was Elizabeth having a firm boundary.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
thought,
Yeah.
she it's not like she said you're a terrible human. What the hell is your problem? I can't believe you are, fill in the blanks here. She said, I'm getting your kid out of here because she shouldn't see you like this, and you need to go to a meeting. She was
Yeah.
clear as F about it,
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And
What's she gonna do? Sit there and be like, all right, Finn,
so what is she supposed to do? Enable him?
well, let's
exactly.
talk this through. She's not his sponsor. She's not running an AA meeting. I understand that she's his girlfriend, but she was there for him in protecting his daughter,
Yep.
and telling him to go to a meeting. Like, I don't see what Alexis would have done differently other than been more winded about it.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think Alexis would have been the same way and just said, hey, you got to get to a meeting.
You got to go to a meeting,
Yep.
is what Alexis would have emphasized.
And that's exactly what Chase did too. When Chase came over, he had a little bit more empathy. He was able to talk to him. Brooklyn taking Violet out of the situation to go to, I think they went to Kelly's or something.
And
Or Bobby.
perhaps Elizabeth's reaction would have been different if Violet wasn't in the apartment that evening.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good possibility. And so she, Elizabeth calls Chase and Brooklyn come over, and you got to feel bad because Chase and Brooklyn, this is not the best way for them to start their marriage, having to worry not only about the death of his father, but having to worry about his brother who's recovering, who's basically broken his sobriety, and now he's got all of his priorities messed up, and they have to worry about what's going to happen with Violet. They have to worry about all this other stuff. This is just not the best way for them to start a marriage.
Did any of you watch today?
I have not watched today yet.
I did. I watched because it was liaison day. I had to watch. It was liaison day. I literally made it a point to watch during my lunch break. So
we're gonna see a lot more of Finn making some really poor choices.
Yeah. On Friday's episode, they made allusion to it because he was in a bar with with another chick drinking and getting hammered, and going up to the bartender and saying, "Hey, is there anywhere we could buy more alcohol?" Now, bartenders generally, even though they do want money, they generally have to cut people off when they look too intoxicated. And
definitely intoxicated.
I'm sorry, but Finn was very intoxicated and looked like he was intoxicated. I mean, so that bartender, the fact that he slipped him a couple of Benjamins didn't make him do what he had to do. And he gave him the bottle of tequila and said, "Here, have it." How are they going to get home? Did they call an Uber or a ride share? We don't know, but they ended up back.
But we're supposed to know he's in a crap hole of an establishment.
Right, exactly.
He's about to match record.
Yeah.
No, we ain't
we know it's like I'm guessing it would probably be like a really maybe not so great part of town because they're giving underage kids with fake IDs cheap beer.
It's the same bar that Jocelyn and Trina snuck into and found Oz and all that, right?
Yep.
Oh, it's that same bar, yeah. So, but my whole favorite part of that whole scene, was Jake's friend going, "Yeah, your mom deserves better than that loser. I'm sorry, Jake." I'm like, "Thank you. I've been saying the same thing for years."
I can't wait until those three kids just hang outside a Quick Stop.
He knows what's up.
Just the three of them, 24/7, hanging outside of a Quick Stop. It's Jake's future, and I can't wait. I know people are like, "Oh, Danny." No, Danny's going to be the one on the mountain bike trying to jump over sharks. Like.
Yeah. Danny's the one with no fear. Jake is the one that will hide it better. And have
what's going on with this whole Jake calling Jason thing? By the way, I have to criticize this a little bit because not just 4 seconds ago he hated that
he's
thing.
done that. He's done that before. It's not the first
How
time
long
he's done
ago?
that. So,
but
Was it
but
5?
yeah, the only reason I say that is because not 6 seconds ago he absolutely hated his father, wanted absolutely nothing to do with him, blah blah blah
Right.
blah, and now he's like, "Hey, Dad, I need you to come save Mom." I just don't understand that choice Jake made. That's all.
Right.
That's all.
Like he could have called Laura,
He could
and
have just called nobody and had Elizabeth handle it. Like I don't understand
and then I
even
wouldn't
that.
get my liaison scenes though.
Well,
Y'all robbing me. Y'all
I know.
robbing
I'm
me.
not trying to take that away from you. But the
Oh my
catalyst
gosh, I
for the
got
scene,
another one.
you know?
I got Angela all on the Carly Jason train, and you're on the Elizabeth Jason train.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Oh,
See,
I
this
didn't
is the
know.
whole thing.
Okay, now
People
I know.
say, why,
Now you
why,
know.
you know,
Now
the,
you know.
why does
I'm a
everybody hate
fan
Carly
because
and
they don't
Jason?
really. This is the thing. They don't give me any Jason Elizabeth scenes as it is. Maybe every 3 to 6 months. So the fact that I was getting one, I was like, wait, who else would Jake call in this situation if it's not Jason? And then I'm like all over social media this past weekend, like, oh, it's a liaison day Monday. It's a liaison day Monday. I'm like, oh my God, it really is? Okay, I'm gonna watch.
so
I'm all for,
I
Jason
made the assumption
and
that he
them.
called Jason on Friday. I made that assumption because
Hmm.
yeah,
the way he didn't say, "Hey, Dad," he said, "Hi, it's Jake.
Hmm.
yeah.
Mm.
Hey, my mom needs help. My mom's in trouble."
Like Elizabeth
That
doesn't
was
have
his
any
dad.
more friends. I know.
I think despite how angry Jake may be
Hmm.
at Jason, I think he knows that Jason is Elizabeth's special friend and not just to the baby daddy. Like he's Elizabeth's special friend is like help mom out. Cause like he's not gonna call like to call Laura in that situation. That no, that
And
wouldn't.
that
Yeah,
and
I
that's
get it. I
exactly
get
what
it.
Stephanie said in the chat. Isn't that Stephanie said he put his mom before his hatred of his dad.
Oh.
Um,
Well, if there is somebody that's going to be there for somebody in trouble, that would be Jason
yes,
Morgan.
exactly.
But the truth is, though, hate is such a strong emotion. He doesn't hate his dad. If he was indifferent, he wouldn't care. He loves his dad.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. I still
He
hate
just
it.
hates the choices his dad made. He
Absolutely.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Huh.
Just
Well,
like when I used to say as a kid, I hate my mom. I hate my mom. I don't really hate my mom. Just
mhm.
didn't like the choices
I
she
have
made. I don't like
never
the way she
in my
raised me.
life said that.
That you hate your mom?
Oh, I used to.
Not
I
that I can
used to.
recall,
never,
at
It was
least.
ever,
bad.
ever said it
It was
either. I
bad,
never even
y'all.
thought it.
I have grown since
I
then.
never
I
thought
love
it.
my mom now,
Oh
but
no, that wasn't a
oh
judgment to you. That was just me sucking up to my mom because she's here.
yes.
um,
You can't say that and live in front of your mom. That wouldn't be right.
so Nathan says Matt is 100% right. I get Jake is a teenager, but all of a sudden he's calling his dad. Jake should have called Chase instead.
I am team Jake shouldn't have called anybody because Elizabeth
And
could have
Stephanie
handled
said
this
that
without
too.
help.
Liz can definitely handle herself.
But I
She
understand they wanted to have some Elizabeth and Jason time. Totally understand. They want to have some Jake and Jason time. Totally understand. This is going to potentially feed into whatever dynamic that they have in future story,
Yep.
whatever it is. I get it. I get it. The execution, that's all. The execution just left a question mark for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's very true. All right, so let's see. We had Gregory's funeral memorial service that kind of triggers all of Finn's drinking again, and that's when he goes to the bar because Maxie has Violet overnight for a sleepover. Even though the scenes at the pool when Maxie and Violet were talking and how Violet said she's worried about her dad and upset about her dad, that almost made me tear up a little bit because you know it takes a very smart young child to pick up on the vibes that their parents are upset, and when they're able to say something to that effect, knowing that she just lost her grandfather, and of course she's at the age where maybe she doesn't fully realize what that means, or she doesn't fully realize what happened, but she does know that her father is upset because she can see it. And you know, just fantastic acting from Jofiel Love. You know, she's been. I don't understand all the hate that she gets, even at her young age, but I feel like she's a fantastic. She's going to be the next Robin, where she grows up on set. I don't think
Oh,
they'll
definitely.
Violet.
If Michael Easton is out, they're keeping Jofiel and having her live with Elizabeth.
Yeah, either Elizabeth or at the Quartermains.
Yeah.
I could see Brooklyn and Chase being parents to Violet.
Oh, that's a good
Hey,
point.
then
I
then you
like that
know,
for
then
them
they could be
because they
like,
did so good with Bailey Lou.
remember Bailey Lou, remember little Wheezy?
Yes.
Oh,
We could
now
do
you
this
got it.
again with somebody who can make their own sandwich. Yes, yes.
Or perhaps we don't know. You know, maybe Hayden will blow back in town after she finds out that Finn ain't around
You
to take
have
care
to
of.
recast Hayden. You
Yeah.
cannot continue to use Greenlee because she's going to blow in for 6 months and go, I'm done.
Yeah, she does all the time. Rebecca
Yeah,
Blaine,
they're gonna have to. I mean, unless I mean, we know that the woman that Finn has been canoodling with this past weekend,
Barb.
Barb. Um, and I mean, I could have said, you know, maybe it's going to be Hayden in disguise, but we know that it's not.
I think she's a day. Isn't she a couple of day player?
Oh yeah, definitely. She's here to
Yeah.
ruin the relationship between Finn and Elizabeth and then be gone. This is what we do. We put Becky Herbst in a different wig, you know, kind of like Emily O'Brien on Days.
Yep.
And then she can play Hayden.
Um, yeah, a craziness. All right. So we saw the seeds of a new relationship get put out there. Trina met Gio, and she was quite taken aback from about by him. And even I mean, I think Gio is going to be a big part of the teen scene for this summer, or teen early 20s, whatever it's going to be. And I really feel like Gio is going to be Trina's new love interest.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
They're making that so obvious, like so super obvious, because I mean, the first scene is like him coming out of the pool, and she's like, I'm like, yeah, I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. No, I'm
I
just,
wanted to.
here's my preference.
I don't. It's fine. The whole Geo thing is fine. I know, but my mind's eye, I want a more of a manlier looking man. Trina.
He's Italian, so you can't go wrong with that.
I just
Well,
wanted
I
to
can
be
hear
this is
Twitter
the
now
Italian
going
version.
over this, and I know Twitter had this whole debacle over who they're gonna have for Trina, and I'm like, well, I guess they just like white boys for Trina, and I know that's gonna set up a whole firestorm. Me just like saying that on Twitter, but that's I don't know. That's what they picked. They decided to have another very cute boy for Trina. But he's like Italian though, right? So I don't know if you can classify him as white, but I
know
mean,
Italian people who say that they aren't. So
I mean,
okay.
I'm
I don't want to
pro-Italian,
step
I
on
can
any
feel
toes here because I don't know what I'm talking about. So please educate me if I'm like you're like, how dare you call him white? Like I can just hear Twitter now. So, but I mean that seems to be like what that's what they want. They want an interracial like relationship again for Trina. They didn't bring on a black boy, so I was like,
No.
okay.
So soaps
Which
thrive
is fine.
on the connectivity of the characters. When it comes down to it, they only have one black family on the show right now, and Trina's in it. She can't date in that
Yeah.
family because she's related to all of them.
that would be quite soapy.
Essentially. But right now they're developing another family, which is the Ramirez family. In order for them to bring somebody on that would be the caliber of character necessary to date Trina, he has to come in my opinion, with some connections, and using the Cerullos rather than the Quartermains or the Corinthoses is a different way of bringing somebody in with fresh DNA
Yep.
that is connected to those rooted characters.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it, at least.
I I'm fine with it. I'm just like, I can hear Twitter in the back of my
Well, then for Twitter, listen up. And then
brain,
last
but
week
I
on our
shouldn't pay them no mind because
no, never do.
not really on it.
But if you go on to our channel, 10th Floor Podcast, you can last week's podcast. I got in deep when it comes to the real logical reasons why the story between Spencer and Trina kind of deteriorated at the end, and the real life consequences of strikes and delayed productions and
Yep.
not leaving on time, and the real life ramifications of all of that.
Yeah.
Detailed last week on the 10th floor.
Oh yeah, and that makes total sense. And I brought it up too. Is that Nicholas Anderson? First off, is that when Nicholas Chavez got the offer, the opportunity to do the Netflix series, the powers that be were on board. They said you could take the time off, come back, and work out your contract or whatever. With the writer strike and then the director strike, on top of that, that delayed the production of that Netflix show to now. So, or just, January-ish. So then they were second guessing that thought, because now that puts their production on hold when they're getting into big storylines. Because remember, when the rest of it, Hollywood was on strike with the directors, the soap directors didn't go on strike because they were under different contract. So they brought in their FICOR writers and they were able to continue production. So now their storylines that were originally set to not include Spencer while he was on hiatus, now they had to scramble to rewrite them. And now we get to the bigger storyline with Esme. So when now the strikes are over, here comes Netflix a calling, and Nicholas Alexander Chavez has to go film. Now they're like, oh, well, what are we going to do? Because now we're handcuffed.
Well, yeah, because now he's at the butt end of his contract to
Right.
begin with.
Exactly. And he wanted to go do that Netflix thing, which he had already committed to. But now GH is like, you know what? We don't need, there was no offer to extend his contract anymore.
As much as people on Twitter, and I
Yep.
know Christy knows this, would love to think that everybody is backstage with machetes hacking each other's fingers off for the opportunity to stay on this show.
Yep.
That's not the case. They get along, they want each other's success, and when it comes down to it, Frank Valentini doesn't want to lock Nicholas Chavez in a general hospital for the rest of his life and ruin his potential out there doing Ryan Murphy shows. That's not in his interest. He's got 50 other characters
Yeah.
on this show that he can use.
Exactly. And the thing
Mark
is, that,
Teschner already found Nicholas. Why can't he find another one?
Well, there you go.
well,
There you
you're right.
There we go. There's a good point.
And they're not looking to recast Spencer anytime soon. So he's going to be away for a while. If and when he comes back,
Yeah.
It'll be completely different.
And we get into reasons on that same podcast last week on our channel as to why that's better for the Trina character to leave Spencer away for a while.
Oh yeah, because Trina needs to move on.
She needs to not be only linked to her first romance, essentially, in her soap character career. I'm not even saying Tabiana Ali. I'm just saying the life of Trina.
Right.
Whoever may be playing her here now and forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just strengthens the character to give him not be Spencer's handbag, essentially.
Right, exactly.
It gives her more to play and just more facets to the character that she's playing. She don't have to just be Spencer. No.
By the way,
I'm more interested in what she's doing next, not watching her be upset over what happened.
Exactly. So, and speaking of Trina and Tabiana Ali, one thing that I do want to bring up, and this is going to be a little bit the heavy part of the show. For those of you who are on Twix and, Friday night, as you know, was the Daytime Emmy Awards. Tabiana Ali was in attendance. She had a beautiful dress on. And, she's a lovely young lady as it is. But you have the trolls on Twix that, came out and had some very derogatory comments about Tabiana Ali. And the fact is that, she actually responded a lot classier than even some of her castmates responded to this person. And of course, the Sprina fan base responded to this person. But the fact is that, you know, we're in 2024 right now. And while we know that, yes, unfortunately, racism still exists in the world, you know, it's a sad but true reality. But the thing is that people are now calling out General Hospital and the powers that be at ABC for not coming to Tabiana's defense against, you know, these Twitter, you know, these Twix trolls that, you know, brought this stuff up. And her exactly, Stephanie says her response was exemplary. She is amazing, and I retweeted it as well. The fact of the matter is, there's no room for hate. There's going to be, you know, heckle all you want. You watch the show. If there's a character on there you don't like, heckle whatever. It does not need to come down to racism. And I'm sorry, but and I even responded that that person was blocked immediately from our Twix account because there's no reason for it. And I'm not even going to read it. But, you know, I wanted to bring it up because of the simple fact that Tabiana Ali is a fantastic actor. You know, and the fact that she was able to come in and take over for Sydney Michaela so quickly and gain so much fanfare very quickly. You know,
While dating Rory.
yeah, that takes talent. And she showed how much class that she has. But I just wanted to put it out there that when it comes to Suds in the Squared Circle and any of the productions that I do, racism will never, ever, ever be tolerated. So if we come across any kind of comments or anything that deals with that and that goes for any kind of judgmental behavior, whether it's racism or homophobia or transphobia or any of that. None of that will ever be tolerated by anything in any of our social media, regardless of political affiliation or not. So I just wanted to put that statement out there and just say that, you know, it's 2024. It's time to grow up. And that's what it boils down to.
I don't got nothing to say beyond what you just said there, Vinny. I don't like to waste a bunch of time and energy. We all know it's wrong. We all know that it's bad. We all know that this person made a poor choice, and there's also been a lot of chatter about it already.
Yeah.
Like I really can't add to the discourse that's already been out there other than 10th floor agrees. This was not good.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, you know, I mean, like I
Take a
said,
look at
you know, said a
Roseanne
little
Barr's
bit earlier.
career, whoever you are. Take a look at Roseanne Barr's career, whoever you are. Stupid choice.
Yeah, you know, you just don't do it.
Yeah.
You know, and then when it comes to any sort of criticism over General Hospital itself making a statement, General Hospital is a TV show. I don't really know what you want or expect a television show to say about it, especially when really when it comes down to it, this was one person who said one thing.
Yeah.
You know, I know that it's out there more than just one person, but when it comes down to it, the tidal wave of this particular controversy was one tweet by one person.
Yeah.
ABC Disney is probably not going to take the time to address one individual and their opinion.
Yeah.
You know, if they let's say ABC did, okay, they would have to employ somebody to do that 24/7.
Oh,
Because
God,
there's
like all the
something
time.
derogatory and something asinine said almost 24/7. So where do they draw the line? What do they respond to and not respond to? Which one is it? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, you got to respond to all of it or none of it.
I did see a lot more people talking about Laura Wright. But not to compare, it's all wrong. It's all wrong. Just be nice. I think everybody should take Tabyana Ali's response to heart when it comes down to it. Like, just, when you like, don't. And then if somebody does, don't respond, ignore it. Just move on, block it, show them the mirror emoji, but don't mm, like, listen, I don't know. I'm not a social leader. I'm not, grassroots movement person. But
To
just don't look. Just don't look. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, from The
But
Simpsons.
to a certain extent, though, that this person has not really got a full deck. Okay, so at a certain, the more you engage, it actually it's just egging them on to do something else, really, because they're getting that attention they're
Yeah.
craving. So I think Matthew is right on point. You just at some point you're just egging them on to say something else.
Yeah.
That's completely inappropriate.
And I agree with Stephanie when she says that soap Twitter is bad, and thankfully our stars have strong backbones and a sense of self. And that's true. And you know what? As bad as soap Twitter is, I'm glad that the entire soap Twitter came to Tabiana's defense. Um, because these people are just not worth anything to brag about. All right, let's move on. We're already an hour and 20 minutes in. We'll be ending this soon. But I do want to kind of bring up Dex and Joss. And I know we're going from Trina to Dex and Joss doesn't always sit right with people, but we are. Because it's my show and I said that. So Dex and Joss having some very flirty scenes at the pool. Dex going over to Geo and saying something about what was it about was it about the Buffalo Bills? Was it about I thought I had some kind of a sports reference or something.
I don't know nothing about sports. Don't know nothing about no
Something about
sports ball.
sports. I don't remember what it was either, but he did say something about sports.
Yeah, it was like, she's a hardcore fan, so if you have a different fan, don't vote it in or whatever. And then Dex did ask Joss out to dinner. So they're trying to mend that relationship in terms of it not being only based on sex.
We'll see how long it lasts.
I think that's always going to be.
Sorry.
It'll be a major component for them no matter
Well,
what.
now that we got Drew
That's a
and
big
Nina,
component, though. They are. I'm
now that
sorry.
we
I
got
love
Drew
Dex
and
and
Nina,
Joss.
though, I mean, Drew and Nina make Joss and Dex look like, holding hands. Those two are down and dirty. They got rug burns on everything. Those two.
It really, yeah, we're getting Jax again, Jax 2, which is totally fine. Jax 2, the sequel. I'm for it. I liked them together the first time. This is an opportunity for them to unite beyond, hey, we really like each other in the dumpster. I mean, they came together because of physical attraction. Now they can come together because of emotional attraction.
Right.
And anybody that's denying it out there, how come she gets it and she didn't get this and she gets this and she didn't get that? It's because her boyfriend stayed on the show and the other one didn't.
Right. Exactly.
I'm totally fine with Dex and Joss getting back together. I could see that coming from like a mile away. The second they start
totally. And it'll be another
they're gonna
year.
get back together.
It'll be another year, and then Jocelyn will do something, say something, step in something, and then there's gonna be a problem. They'll break up and be off in their merry ways doing other stuff. Look at the evolution that we've seen Sasha go through in the time on the show. Like Dex might have something very similar. We still don't even know who his daddy is.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I still want to learn more backstory about Dex, which we're learning a little bit more and more with him being on the police, being a police. He's almost a police cadet.
I don't have a father. I was immaculately conceived. That's what my mother always said.
Find out.
All right.
Doctors didn't believe her.
Although, Christy, you're going to be happy because we're going to get some Elizabeth parenting scenes coming up because she's got to handle the Jake being at a bar situation.
I know, tomorrow.
He was just passing by the bar. Ooh, Jake. Is he trying to open one called Jake's?
But Yeah, we're gonna have to see her deal with that because Jake is always, the good boy. Um,
I think Jake got peer pressured into that whole. Let's go get some cheap beer at this random bar.
I'm telling you, y'all, they're gonna be hanging outside the quick stop because of these two boys' influence. Hey,
yeah,
mister, hey,
Probably.
mister, hey, mister, you know?
It did seem a little bit odd, I know he's a teenager, but what struck me a little bit odd about the whole willing to go to a bar with those two guys. I mean, he was ready to kick his brother's butt over a vape,
Mm.
now
Oh
he's
yeah,
taking to the
good
bars.
point.
See, this is the inconsistency in Jake I was referring to earlier.
yep, you're right.
Mhm.
Absolutely. All right,
Yeah.
folks, we're just about out of time. Um,
Benny's tired. It's really late for him.
well, yeah, it is 11:30 my time, but that's regardless of the situation. Um, any storylines that we missed? Anything that we
Oh,
didn't talk
there's a
about?
million things that we missed, but hey, that's a podcast for you.
Yeah. I didn't super go in depth with Chase in Brooklyn, but there was Tracy last week, that scene
Oh,
they had with
it's,
Tracy and the
it's because
wine. That
we
was
took all the time. I'm sorry. We
great.
stole all your time, Christy.
That's okay. That's okay. No, I love that you guys are here. But no, I just wanted an honorable mention of the Tracy scene with the Chase in Brooklyn
I
last week.
mean,
I thought that
it just
was
goes without right.
lovely.
There's going to be a Tracy Quartermain honorable mention every time Jane Elliott's on the
Oh,
screen.
absolutely. Of course.
I love
It
it.
is.
I love her scenes. I love it. I
And I
love it. I
love that
love
they
it. I
always
love
find
it.
something for her
I
to
love
do.
everything they've done with Jane Elliott since Tracy's return. I absolutely love what they've done with her.
I do too. I think that Tracy is turning into the next Lila, albeit with a little snark. But Jane, the new character for Tracy being softer, being just more loving and concerned about people. Um,
I love her soft performance and portrayal of Tracy because I've gotten strong Tracy and
yes,
argumentative Tracy, but like the more soft spoken and more like emotional, where she's speaking more from like, I, it's it'd be some weird thing for me to say, but it's like she's speaking from her eyes,
yeah,
not in how she looks, but just in where it seems like her voice is coming from. Like it seems like it's coming from her eyes.
exactly.
It's incredible to see, and just a whole new layer of Tracy, and just a whole new level of Jane Elliott that we really haven't had a bunch of time seeing before.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Um, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And if I didn't love, yeah, and Stephanie said a Lila and Edward hybrid, which is very very true. She is the product of her parents.
She is the smash name.
Yeah. Was that
Ledward.
Ledward?
Edla? Edla sounds like a real like old timey name.
Yeah.
Does it sounds like somebody's grandma's name, huh? Edla?
Edla? Edla?
All
Oh, I
right.
have to
So
name a dog Edla.
I like Edith, but I like Lilith. Lilith, though. We named you.
Edla. Edlith.
all right, folks. So before we leave, I do want to thank the Matt and Kat from the 10th floor for coming on and joining us. And what we end up doing every episode at the end of the show is what we call the thankful minute. So everybody takes 1 minute and gives us what they're thankful for, whether it's this week or this month or whatever, or even from today. So as always, I start with our guests. So and ladies first. So Mama Cat, I'm going to put a minute on the timer, and let us
Pressure's
know,
on.
let the audience know what you're thankful about.
Oh, what I'm grateful for. Okay. Well, I'm grateful for the vacation I just got to take. And I got to experience Disneyland for the first time through my 6-year-old granddaughter's eyes. And the wonderment of it that I actually saw through her face. It was absolutely beautiful. Just everything about it. I was in Southern California, so I actually got to see this guy right here in the flesh. I talk to him more than my other children because of podcasting, but I never see him. I see him 2 or 3 times a year in person. So I'm grateful I got to see him. So yeah, I'm a grateful person anyway. That I kind of start my day that way. I try to a little bit because I can go down a rabbit hole of. I want.
All right. Fantastic. Matt, you're up.
Well,
What are you thankful for?
gosh, my mom covered the weekend, so I'm going to do something different. I'm going to be thankful for my mother's brother's family. And here's why. We got one with a baby on the way. We got one graduated from college. We have such enormous opportunity for my cousins that are opening up when it comes to fatherhood, the future, their careers, what it is that their life has. And it's just such a wonderful thing to say. Plus, my Aunt Chris likes every single one of my Facebook statuses. Every single one of them. The only person I know who has liked 100% of everything that I have ever said on Facebook. And I'm incredibly thankful and appreciative for that.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Christy, you're up. What are you thankful for?
I just say I'm grateful I'm here. It's been a tough go for me lately. But I'm grateful I was able to catch up on General Hospital last week, even though I think it triggered some things for me personally, because the grief and the addiction storyline actually kind of hits home for me. But I'm grateful for how realistic GH is playing that. That is very realistic. So I'm very grateful for that part of it, for just the fact that it's realistic, and I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful for people who have checked in on me and are out there listening to me, and make sure that I'm okay and that they're there. People I have in my life, friends that I have to vent to, and that about wraps it up for me. So
Thank you so much for sharing. And it's my turn. I'm going to go ahead and put a minute on the clock. And I'm thankful this week because I've only been at my new job. Those of you that know, I've only been here for 90 days, and I've already gotten a promotion. In 2 weeks, I start a new position, and my raise actually goes into effect today. And in 2 weeks, I start a new position with better hours, more of a consistent schedule, and which means that the timing of our podcast may change a little bit, but we'll have to. That's something we're going to cross in pretty soon. But I am thankful for the people that have started to follow the show, subscribe, watch. Definitely getting us better all the time. And I'm thankful for just to have the opportunity to talk about something I enjoy, whether it's wrestling or soap operas, and make new friends through those soap operas and the podcast. So that's what I'm thankful for. And Stephanie, thank you for putting that in the chat. You're thankful that you found this podcast. Definitely appreciate it. Go ahead, for those of you who are watching, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And if you are listening on the podcast feed, go ahead and give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Programming note, Dockside at the Bay will not be tomorrow night, but will be Wednesday night at 10 p.m. this week, right here. So stay tuned and follow our Twix account at Suds SQ Circle Pod. Go visit sudsandsquaredcircle.com for all of your Suds and Squared Circle needs. And if you do want to go ahead and vote for the Sudsy Awards, sudsandsquaredcircle.com/Sudsy voting. And then Matt and Kat, do you want to share where everybody can find you? Because this is simulcast.
No, just Google it. Just Google. No, you can find us on Twix, on Twitter at 10th floor GH, 10th floor GH. You can also find us on our own YouTube channel, youtube.com/10th floor podcast. We'll take you there. We're live Sunday mornings, usually, 9 a.m. for Days for Dummies. It's me, my ma, and then Professor Angela. You know Angela, she's been on this channel.
Correct?
I'm sorry?
9 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, 9 a.m. Pacific, whatever it is for the rest of the world. And then 11 a.m. Pacific for 10th Floor Podcast, which is the the original, the OG podcast, the one that covers General Hospital. Ma and I will do that one. We try to expand a little bit. We try to do stuff on Thursdays, the Skinny Dip podcast, in which we deep dive into a specific soap topic. This week we're probably going to deep dive into General Hospital because we missed yesterday. So go over there, like the video, subscribe, click around, see all that stuff. We had a couple of interviews, red carpet stuff, all that stuff that we've been lucky for. So
We got to go to the Grand Emmys last year. This
in
past
December, not
Friday,
this time, but
we
in
didn't
December.
get to attend this last week, but we did in December.
Well, fantastic. And so everybody go out of your way to follow 10th Floor as well. But for Matt and Kat and Christy, I'm Vinny. We'll see you next week with Suds News. It won't be at the 10th floor, but next week you got the 10th floor will be back at their normal time slot. Have a great week, everybody.